Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Boxing Law on the Beltway with this very special Beltway boxing news and notes that we will preview the entire card for Saturday, December 5th, less than 24 hours away now at the D.C. Armory in Washington, D.C. And that, of course, is the main event featuring Luis the Real King Kong Ortiz taking on Tony the Tiger Thompson of Washington, D.C. Now, once again, this bout, as we said in our last News and Notes podcast, no longer for the WBA Interim Heavyweight Championship. The WBA did not sanction this as a title bout. So this is looked upon as a stay busy bout for Ortiz, who's 24-0 with 21 KOs. And he's been knocking everybody out. And again, so many people did not want to face Luis Ortiz. About 5 or 6 boxers turned this bout down. But as Tony Thompson said in an interview with HBO Sports this week, they didn't ask Tony the Tiger Thompson early on, but they finally asked him. He took the bout willingly, and we will see what happens. Tiger Thompson coming in at 40-6, 27 KOs. This bout scheduled for 12 rounds. We said Ortiz 24-0 with 21 KOs. Now, the interesting thing about this, the weights came down today, and Tony Thompson is at 264 pounds, and that's heavy for a heavyweight, but of course he is a heavyweight. Thereby, there's no real issue in that situation. However, people are making a big deal of this, and sometimes when Thompson is at a heavyweight, he does not seem to compete as well. But what people are forgetting is that Luis Ortiz, who came in at about 246 pounds, that's the heaviest he has ever been. So we'll see if that slows him down a little bit. He's not up in age like Thompson at 44, but he is in his mid-30s. So this one could be interesting. I mean, a lot of people are thinking that Ortiz is going to knock out Thompson relatively early, but if you know anything about Thompson's history, he has fought some guys who have supposed to be the next big thing in heavyweight boxing, and Thompson has been able to use his skills and the fact that he's a big 6'5" southpaw heavyweight to his advantage. So if he still has anything left, could be a very interesting bout. I think Ortiz should win, but you never know. You never know with Tony Thompson. If the right Tony Thompson is there, that could be very, very interesting bouts. That's our main event. Tony the Tiger Thompson taking on Luis Ortiz. I think the bout that everybody is really going to be watching and really going to be enjoying is going to be a matchup for the WBO welterweight title. That's Jesse Vargas out of Las Vegas taking on Saddam World Kid Ali out of Brooklyn, New York. And I think this could be the fight of the night. This could be a great bout. I'm really happy to see that one of our local referees, Kenny Chevalier, will be the referee for this bout. I talked to him last week about it. He is very excited about this situation, so he's looking forward to it. And I think he knows what kind of bout he's going to get. He's going to get two guys that will come after each other throughout the whole duration of the bout. Jesse Vargas is 26-1 with 9 KOs. Saddam Ali, 22-0, 13 KOs. I believe this is Saddam's second time as a pro coming to Washington, D.C. He did come here as an amateur. I've told that story a few times. He came to D.C. to fight the old convention center when he was a little kid, and he fought Gary Russell Jr. And, of course, a few years later, both of them will be on the same Olympic team in 2008. So, but Ali's been here since then. He was on a big, I believe he was on the Bernard Hopkins Beirut Shumenov card at the D.C. Army back in April of 2014. So that should be a very good bout and well scheduled for 12 rounds for the vacant WBO welterweight championship. And there'll be one other title bout for the WBC featherweight championship. Robinson Castellanos, he's out of Celaya, Guanajuato, Mexico. He's 23-1, 13 KOs, taking on Oscar Escandon from Ibagué, Colombia. He's 24-2, 16 KOs. That bout also scheduled for 12 rounds. So, again, this is going to be a long night. We'll give you the times and when everything's supposed to start at the D.C. Army a little bit later on today. Now, counting Tony Thompson, and this is always the good part here for us, there are 5 Beltway boxers scheduled to be on this card. And that's a lot. That's going to be good for us. And one of them just had an opponent change very recently, over the last few hours, actually. Lamont Roach Jr. out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland. He is 9-0, 3 KOs. He'll be taking on Jesus Lule. He is from Fort Myers, Florida, record of 8-15-1, 1 KO. Now, Roach is scheduled to face a guy named Mario Macias, who had a record of 28-17, 14 KOs. Don't know why that opponent was changed, but it may mean that Roach, who was scheduled to make his debut as an 8-round boxer on this card, that may change. I mean, granted, Lule has the experience, but I don't think he's gone 8 rounds before. And he is coming off a win himself. He's coming off a 4-round unanimous decision over Jamar Saunders. That was on January 31st in Imilwaukee, Florida. That was the same card, by the way, that David Grayton fought on and won by knockout there. So I don't know if this will still be an 8-round bout. We'll have to wait and see. But Lamont Roach Jr. was scheduled to make a jump to 8 rounds on this card. Whether or not he'll still do that, we don't know. We don't know how many rounds this bout is now for. Also, Demetrius Big Meech Ballard, he's the undefeated super middleweight from Temple Hills, Maryland. He looks to stay that way. He'll take on Leofsky Mayedo, and he is out of Mexico as well. That'll be a bout scheduled for 6 rounds. Now, Ballard's coming off a 6-round unanimous decision over Fabiano Pena. That was on December 19th in Verona, New York. Mayedo was knocked out in the 2nd round by Earl Newman back on September 22nd in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So we'll see what happens with Ballard as he tries to continue on his undefeated path. Also, Landover, Maryland super featherweight Kevin K. Smooth Rivers Jr. Now, he's going to look to bounce back from his first loss that he suffered. He'll take on Angel Aispuro from Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico, and that's in a 6-round bout as well. Rivers, in fact, there are no 4-round bouts on this card. Everything is 6 and above right now. Again, we'll even with the change in opponent for Lamont Roach Jr., that should be at least a 6-round bout. Kevin Rivers is 12-1, 9 KOs. He lost his last contest by 6-round majority decision. He lost to Alejandro Ochoa. That was on October 3rd in Carson, California. Now, in that bout, and to give you an idea what kind of resolve Kevin Rivers has, he was actually knocked down twice in that bout, first in the first round and then in the second round, and still battled back to get at least a draw on one of the judges' scorecards. And that says a lot for Kevin Rivers. It was a majority decision, so it definitely shows Rivers has some drive and some resolve. So we'll see. Aispuro is 6-3-2, 3 KOs. He's unbeaten in his last 4 contests. He's 3-0-1. However, he has not fought anybody the caliber of Kevin Rivers Jr. because his last 4 opponents had a combined record of 6-23-1. So we hope to see Rivers come back and do well in his return, trying to get back off that first loss. And again, I've said it many times before, when he is on his game, there's no better fundamentally sound boxer in this area than Kevin Rivers Jr., in my personal opinion. So we'll see what happens there. Also, on the card, and this one I think could be the most interesting bout as far as a Beltway boxer other than the main event of the night. Alexander the Great Johnson was put on this card in the last week or so, and he's the light heavyweight out of Oxon Hill, Maryland. He'll take on Todd Unthank May, and I hope I pronounced his name right. He's out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That bout is scheduled for 6 rounds. Now, Johnson, who's 16-3, 7 KOs, he's been active. He lost in his last outing to Artur Beterbiev on June 12th in Chicago, Illinois. That bout was on national television on Fox Sports 1, I believe. And he went the furthest that anybody has gone with Beterbiev in Beterbiev's career. Beterbiev went to 9-0, 9 KOs in that bout, but usually he did not get out of the 4th round. But he went 7 with Johnson, and Johnson would try, but again, it was a tough bout, no question about that. So we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, Unthank May is 8-0, 3 KOs, but he has not fought since November of 2013. He scored a 2nd-round TKO over Kentrell Claiborne in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So this one could be interesting. And I know people have been looking for bouts for Johnson. He's been in some good demand. Matter of fact, a true story, I got a phone call from a promoter in California asking for them to get in touch with Alexander Johnson. I put the promoter in touch with Johnson's trainer, Daryl Talbot Tyson. Unfortunately, I heard this, and this is no surprise. The guy that they wanted Johnson to fight was another Russian boxer like Betabayev is. And Daryl told me, no more Russian boxer. So this one could be interesting again because Unthanked May doesn't seem to have a whole lot of power, and he hasn't fought in more than 2 years. And Johnson, to his credit, has been pretty active. So that one could be very interesting. That may be the upset of the night. We'll see what happens there. So those are the Beltway boxers that are on the card. Also, Rashidi Speedy Ellis out of Lynn, Massachusetts. He will be in an 8-round welterweight bout against Marco Antonio Lopez of San Luis Potosi, Mexico. Now, Ellis is the younger brother of Ronald Ellis, who fought a couple weeks ago, against Jerry Odom on Showbox. So this is the younger brother. By the way, congratulations to Ronald Ellis, who now is in the same promotional camp as Jerry Odom, because GH3 just picked them up. So GH3 out of New Jersey just picked him up as a signee. So they are now in the same camp, so to speak, in promotional camp anyway. Now, Rashidi Speedy Ellis, he is 14-0, 11 KOs. He's won a couple of regional titles. He won them in his last bout. He won a Fera Centro championship, won another title. He won a 4th-round TKO over Victor Gonzalez. That was on March 14th in Caguas, Puerto Rico. Lopez is 24-8, 15 KOs. He's lost 3 straight and 6 of his last 7 bouts. So we'll see what happens. They're looking forward to seeing Rashidi Ellis. Zachary Zungri Ochoa. He's out of Brooklyn, New York. This will be a 6-round super lightweight bout. He'll take on Rosbel Lobito Montoyo of Tamaulipas, Mexico. Ochoa is 13-0, 6 KOs, coming off a 3rd-round TKO over Alejandro Rodriguez. That was on October 2nd in Los Angeles, California. Montoya is 16-6-1, 13 knockouts, but he's lost his last 4 by knockout. And also on the card, Damon Allen out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He'll be in a 6-round contest against Daniel Perales of Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico. Allen is 8-0, 3 KOs, won a 6-round unanimous decision over Oscar Santana on November 6th in Los Angeles. Perales is 6-3-1, 3 KOs. He's coming off a win against in his last Saturday. That was on December 17th in Monterrey. So that is the card for the D.C. Armory in Washington, D.C., Saturday, March 5th. We're less than 24 hours away now as we record this. The card gets underway. This is what I want to tell you. The card gets underway at 4:30 in the afternoon. The doors will open at 4:30, and they'll get that first bout underway very soon after that. So you have to be there early if you want to catch some of the undercard bouts, especially a lot of our Beltway boxers. They'll be fighting early, 4:30. Now, some of the undercard bouts will be shown live on ringtv.com beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So I think some of the ones, I believe the WBO, WBC interim featherweight championship. Did I say WBO? I think I didn't say that. I meant WBC interim featherweight championship, and that will be on Ring TV. That's the one. That's the bout between Castellanos and Escandon. Yes, WBC featherweight title. I did say that. So that'll be on Ring TV. Maybe Lamont Roach, I would say Lamont Roach Jr.'s bout will probably be on there. Possibly more than likely Demetrius and Kevin Rivers Jr., since they're all Golden Boy boxers. So it's going to be a long night because the actual broadcast, the HBO broadcast, does not begin till 10 p.m. Eastern time. And it'll be a very busy night for us on the Beltway because on Showtime, of course, Antoine Douglas and Fernando Guerrero will be in bouts on Showtime. That broadcast will begin also at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So, again, you just hate when the two big networks duel and try to do that for the viewership. But, again, if you have cable, you just flick back and forth best we can. Now, I think the order for the Showtime card, Tony Harris and Fernando Guerrero will be first, followed by Douglas's bout as the co-feature now. Originally will be the main event, but will now be the co-feature bout. And then Julian J. Rock Williams is in the main event on that show. So HBO will be on at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Showtime will be on 10 o'clock Eastern time as well. Should be very interesting to see what happens, see how well the Beltway does on two big nights, two big cards on the same night coming up Saturday, March 5th. We'll be providing some podcast updates from the undercard as well on Box on the Beltway Google app for Android and on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio.com. We're also on YouTube as well. So we'll be providing some podcast updates right here tomorrow night. And we look forward. Hopefully you can be there once again at the DC Armory. Let's pack this place and show the world that DC can really support the boxers. We've got one of two big cards in the DC Armory coming up in the next month. Of course, this one on tomorrow night, and of course Friday, April 1st, Spike TV has that one between Adrian Bronner and Ashley Theophane. So let's pack the place on Saturday night for this big card. So we look forward to seeing you at the DC Armory. We'll be providing some podcast updates from there. So make sure you join us right here on the Box on the Beltway Google app for Android. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Gary Digital Williams. See you tomorrow night at the DC Armory. And remind you, as always, keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Take care.